In the Emmy races for Best Drama Acting, we've got Pete Hammond of Deadline Hollywood here to help me figure out who's really going to be nominated and win. I'm Tom O'Neill of Gold Derby. Pete, let's start with drama actress because Elisabeth Moss won last year for Handmaids. She is the clear favorite now among the experts and the regular predictors at Gold Derby. But she's up against Claire Foy, who has won SAG twice. And Claire Foy beat Elisabeth Moss this year at SAG. And the reason that's important is they're both peer group awards.
They are. And that is interesting. However, I think Lizzie Moss, as everybody calls her, you know, sat there losing for so many years for Mad Men and
Top of the Lake.
Top of the Lake. And here she's going to be nominated again for both of those. Handmaid's Tale, which she won last year, and Top of the Lake, the sequel to that. I think that she's in line for a second Emmy in the acting category. I think that's just the way these things go down.
I agree with that.
So I see that happening, despite the fact that there is a big campaign to remind people that Claire Foy is, you know,
stronger than we think,
dethroned as the Queen Elizabeth in favor of the next actress to come in there. So this is their last chance to give it to Claire Foy, and it is a very well-regarded performance by her. So
very subtle, though. It's not very flashy.
Switch it up. They could switch it up. I don't see the level of momentum for The Crown that I see for The Handmaid's Tale, and that can make a big difference. But again, it's just actors voting for actors, so we'll see.
In the predictions I'm looking at of the experts at Gold Derby, we have Keri Russell in third, Evan Rachel Wood in fourth, Mandy Moore in fifth, and your favorite Sandra Oh in sixth. Let's stop at six for a second. Sandra Oh is on a huge upswing, while Killing Eve is slaying this town. It just got the most nominations at TCA Awards.
The matter is, is the momentum hitting at the right time for that as voting has been going on and people seeing the show, or just seeing that they have to see the show, which means it's going to be a little while longer for them to put it in the drama series categories we were talking about in that segment. But here, I think Sandra Oh will sneak in.
I do too.
I think she gets in. And it was hard for me because I was saying, who am I going to knock out? I knocked out Laura Linney, who I had in there for Ozark.
Yeah, wow.
I really like her. And I think the Academy, she's won several Emmys. I think they really like her. I just didn't know what to do. I'm still leaving the Maggie Gyllenhaal in for The Deuce because
That's sort of not doing gonna happen.
I'm doing that
because you're crazy.
I really admire what she's done with that role and how she's handled it. And I think if people really look at it and look at what she's doing, it's risky, it's daring. She's terrific in it. And she is well liked too. However, you're right.
The show is not.
I'm probably chasing windmills here with Maggie Gyllenhaal by putting her in over Laura Linney in Ozark. But I do think all of them are bunched up there in that second half of that category, and all of them could get in one way or another. So
let's go back up the list. Keri Russell and Evan Rachel.
She's going to get in. The Americans
and Evan Rachel Wood will get in. But the problem with both of them is that they're very stoic performances, very underplayed.
Right. But Evan Rachel Wood's character is taking twists and turns, and I think people like that. And she's moving in different directions with it, even though it's subtle. She's well regarded too, and she does well with that role. There's no reason to believe they won't nominate her again.
She'll be nominated.
Yeah.
Mandy Moore was not nominated last year.
She's the one that should be in there.
And she had a big year with the Super Bowl episode.
Right.
And a lot of great moments.
I think she'll get in this time.
I do too.
Yeah, I do. I think that's why it was hard for me to find room for Sandra Oh. You know, normally I wouldn't, but I'm just listening to the buzz, and so I did. But we'll see if that was a mistake on my part to move things around.
Sandra's co-star, Jodie, is seriously in the running too. But she's down at number 11. Katrina Balfe, I'm a big Outlander fan, and
that's not
it's not going to happen. I think it could if it comes through anywhere. It comes through here.
You think so? I don't see that. I don't see that.
Emilia Clarke, Game of Thrones is in the running
here.
Well,
you know, we always like the Game of Thrones actors, but
what about Viola Davis? Isn't she always nominated for?
She is. I think, you know, what happens with a network series that's a procedural kind of thing, you know, and that's an interesting show. But it comes from the Shonda Rhimes camp, and I think it's sort of like Scandal and Kerry Washington. You get one nomination, and you're lucky enough to win. That's great. Well, Viola got nominated her first year; she wins it, and then the second year. But then it's sort of like dwindling returns here after a while with a show like that.
In the drama actor race, Sterling Brown won last year. He's back. He's
definitely getting nominated again.
Heavily favored to win. But Matthew Rhys has the more empathetic performance on The Americans.
And it's timely.
It's timely, and if they go for anybody in the series, if we see a win there
above
Margot Martindale.
Look what happened. John Hamm finally won for Mad Men last time out, just like this situation here with Matthew Rhys. They do recognize that if it's
Kyle Chandler, the final season
of Friday Night Lights, it does have, and he beat all these people like John Hamm and what have you. But it's like they do recognize that if it's campaigned in a strong enough way to make it say this is it, then don't discount Matthew Rhys, as you say.
I think that's wise advice. Milo from This Is Us had a.
I think he had a very significant year, and he was nominated last year. There's no reason to believe that they wouldn't nominate him.
But could he
this
win?
Year.
He dies. He had a flashy year.
Super Bowl.
I know.
Here's the episode again. And I think that it's powerful stuff for him. So you know what? And he could even upset his castmate there. In the end, too.
That's the problem, though, with the new voting system, and this is where we've. Kit Harington's in this race. Let me use him as an example. He moved up from supporting it with Game of Thrones to lead this year just to get rid of Peter Dinklage because under the old voting system, if you were one of those 50 to 70 people on a judging panel and you were looking at all of the episodes, and you studied them carefully and you were only limited to 4 categories.
I call it the Lindsay Wagner effect.
Yes.
Remember how she won for the Bionic Woman?
I know.
People go like, what?
I know.
And it's because she had that one episode.
She had one episode with a good and evil twin. And that they're suckers for that.
Yeah.
But that said, we believed Kit Harington would win supporting drama actor 2 years ago because it was it was Jon Snow's year. I mean, he becomes king. It was all that. It was all about Jon Snow, and he was magnificent. But he lost to Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
And when we look back now, us pundits said, "What happened? How did that happen?" Ben Mendelsohn was just in a couple episodes of Bloodline, and he dies. And we just see video of it. It was preposterous.
How did that happen?
I think what happened was, whereas in the old days, if you were nominated against a co-star, you would win because the voters would see 2 performances of yours on 2 submissions. Now it's more of a popular vote. You submit an episode, no one's watching it. So you split the vote. So what the mistake that we had made was Dinklage and Harington split the vote. So Harington wisely got out of there, but he may not even get nominated though.
This is a gamble.
This is a big gamble.
This is a big gamble for him.
He's down at number 8. So
I think that's probably where he is too.
Liev Schreiber almost always gets nominated.
He does.
J.K. Simmons is the.
I think he should get in.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Actors love him. He's playing two roles, 2 sides of the same person.
Sure.
And it's really interesting. It's a challenge.
It's a cult hit. People love this show.
And I think if he can draw them into it to actually watch it, I think he's got a real shot at a nomination here.
I do too. Jason Bateman, Ozark.
Yeah, he's good. I don't think it's going to happen for him in this category in particular.
It may have, but then he got in some trouble.
He sort of addressed that. I don't know that that's going to hurt him.
I don't
people, if he doesn't get nominated, people will say it did. I don't think that's the reason. I think there's a lot of competition here.
Poor Freddie Highmore has never been nominated for
an
Emmy.
He should get in.
He wasn't even nominated for Bates Motel.
That's
terrible.
Incredible, I know. And I think Freddie's terrific in this show.
Is,
And he's got to get nominated this year, or he's never going to get nominated for this show. That's what happens.
But it's a flashy role. It's got the handicap thing going.
I'm hoping he does. The show's a big hit,
and
there's every reason to think he should. But then again, look at all the competition here.
Jeffrey Wright for Westworld.
I think
is he
just added
good
him
in that show?
I just added him today.
I would vote for him to win.
I knocked out somebody. I don't know who I knocked out, but I knocked out somebody. And I put Jeffrey Wright in because I do agree with you. I think Jeffrey Wright's
magnetic
character has gone up the scale here to put him in.
Absolutely. he's certainly going to be in there. We have got Jonathan Groff for Mindhunter.
No.
Past winner Rami Malek is still in there.
That's not happening. No, he didn't happen last year. He's not happening this year.
Right, poor Rami. All right, so we're going to look at supporting drama actress now. Ann Dowd won last year, but here now we have she's great. And we often see the veteran actor play a villain, and they love that. And J.K. Simpson.
But she can play anything. Did you see the movie American Animals? I mean, she's the librarian that they sort of kidnapped to steal the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
She's just so good. You know, she just is there. She's natural. She knows how to play these roles, and you don't know who you're watching, but you go, who is that? Your eyes always go to her. I think she's a wonderful actress.
Last year, Ann Dowd won in an upset. She was not our number one.
Well, an upset according to you.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying according to the odds.
Yeah. She was definitely in that race last year.
She was definitely in the race.
Ann Dowd.
Alexis Bledel, her co-star, won last year in guest
star.
And has moved up to supporting. And now all of a sudden, does this split the vote? Does this hurt her? Does a Chrissy Metz get in finally? Well, she had a big year. She gets married on This Is Us.
Yeah.
She has the whole daddy thing with the fire.
She did. I sort of think of Chrissy Metz as a first season winner, and she didn't win in that first season, so the bloom may be off the rose a little bit in terms of voters looking at that performance, because I thought she had such great work in the first season, and I thought that's where she might have won, and that's when Ann Dowd came in and won. I was predicting Chrissy Metz
I was
last
too.
year.
That's who the front runner
was. So now I'm thinking, well, if it didn't happen last year, she'll get nominated. But is it really going to happen this year? I don't think so.
Vote splitting. Well, if there's vote splitting, somebody sneaks up the middle there.
Yeah, well,
what about Tandy Newton?
Wow,
my God, she could win. I would vote for her.
Now again, we're going on this. Did people watch the episode? But if they're watching the show,
and they are,
they will have seen that episode number 5 where she speaks almost all Japanese, and it's a very particular dialect of Japanese. That's tough to do. I mean, the actors are going to. Again, it's actors voting. Actors are going to recognize the degree of difficulty, I think, and she's great, and so I think
she's
mesmerizing. I think it's Tandy.
She's moved up, by the way, significantly in our prediction charts recently. There is this momentum now as her character keeps widening and deepening on the show as we see it go every week. Millie Bobby Brown was nominated last year. Will be back. Yeah. Lena Headey at number 5 here. We've got Alexis Bledel from Handmaids at number 6. And then we get down into these things like Uzo Aduba from Orange is the New Black.
Well, they obviously love her.
Yeah,
She's won in a couple of different categories.
Constance Zimmers has gotten in before for Unreal. She could be back.
I don't see that.
Margot Martindale, they give her an Emmy just for drinking a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and the Americans, I mean, Margot absolutely gets nominated. They look at it, they check it off. It's one of those, she's well deserving of any kind of acting honors you want to give her because she's always wonderful. But even her is surprised. Even she is surprised at some of them.
It's like an automatic thing going on there. Best Drama Supporting Actor, our last category here. David Harbour has been ahead all along. And why do you think that?
I don't know. There's something about him. I think his time has come.
Really? Okay.
But I'm not saying he's going to win, but I do have him way up there.
Well, I think it's...
They're going to give Stranger Things something.
Yeah.
And not just below the line. I mean, I think they will recognize something here. And if they do, I think it's him.
11 out of our 18 experts agree with you and say he's going to win. Peter Dinklage is in second place. Mandy Patinkin for Homeland.
I love Mandy, and he had a really good episode, a really good year. He's been nominated now three times? Two or three times for this show. He's been on the show since the beginning. He's terrific. He's a good actor.
He was an Emmy darling back in his Chicago Hope days. John Lithgow won last year for his role as Winston Churchill in The Crown, but he's not back this year, so it's wide. But last year it was strange, too. We didn't get Jonathan Banks in last year.
No, he's not getting in this year.
Really? Okay, so this...
Well, because Better Call Saul ain't on.
Yes, okay, that's true. Stupid, of course.
Yeah.
So Justin Hartley is in our...
I don't see that. I mean, they are pushing him, but I don't see him getting into this category. There are the other ones.
Noah Schnapp is in number 5, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, from Stranger Things. Brendan Fraser's next on the list for Trust. I'm not sure they're looking at that. It's a wonderfully colorful character.
Yeah.
Plays this southern...
Right.
And he really hams it up beautifully.
Well, maybe. I mean,
it could get
they
in.
watch
Joseph
that show.
Fiennes is overdue to get in.
I think he gets in.
for
I
Handmaids.
do, yeah, for Handmaid's
He's
Tale.
way down our list at number 8. He should be
Really?
further
Oh, I
up.
think he'll get in.
And Nikolaj for
Yeah, no, I think he'll get
Game
in.
of Thrones too.
Yeah.
Pete, you've just said about 12 people who are going to definitely get in. Which are your 6?
Okay. Well, David Harbour.
Okay.
Nikolai Waldau.
Dinklage. Mandy.
Josephine Fiennes. You know, I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
John Voight. Sometimes
this may be the first year there are 12 nominees.
I would be very happy with that, and so would everybody
Yes.
at Gold
Wouldn't
Derby.
that be the upset to call?
Yes, it would.
I just did it. 12 nominees for supporting actor in a drama series.
And who would win that?
David Harbour.
Okay. Thank you, Pete. We're going to pick this up after nominations come out.
And we have the real names.
So we have the real names. In the meantime, you know better than we do. Admit it. We just give the best performance by experts, pretending to know what's going to be nominated and win. But you have the power at Gold Derby to give us your predictions and to set us straight. Do it now.